We whirled through the air between it and the trees with blasts of fire. Amanda's mate arrived and joined the flaming circle in an effort to protect his children. I remembered the last battle and gained altitude before diving onto its back. My teeth sunk into its skin at the base of its neck while it was distracted by the others. I immediately let go and leapt into the air, but the Sakura reared up and swiped its claws at me. I shrieked in pain as one of its claws grazed my rear leg. Amanda dove between us, spitting a fireball into its face to distract it. The creature screamed in pain and scrambled backward, shaking its head to dissipate the lingering flames. I glanced back at my leg to see a shallow, bloody gash. My leg hurt, but its claw had barely sliced through my scales. I exhaled in relief, glad it wasn't anything more serious. Ignoring the minor cut, I did a wing-over and rejoined the 5 others. They were still breathing fire at the creature, trying to drive it away from the defenseless hatchlings. It snarled at us and lunged in the direction of the nest, making us scatter to avoid its teeth and claws. As it passed by me, I swerved around with an enraged shriek and landed on its back. My claws sliced into its skin with the momentum of its jump, although that didn't prevent me from biting the top of its shoulder blade. Its head swung around to snap at me, and I jumped back into the air. Its razor-sharp teeth snapped shut just behind me. Adrenaline and fear blasted through me, although the fear didn't affect the rage or the desire to see this thing dead. While I was trying to get out of range of its teeth, its tail whipped around. My eyes widened and my muscles felt the strain of my evasion attempt. I tried to spin out of the way, but its tail struck the front of my wing with a glancing blow. I barely registered the loud snap before excruciating pain shot through my right wing and made me scream. My momentum sent me tumbling against the base of a tree. My head banged against the rough bark, and I lay there, panting with short, painful breaths. Between the crash landing and the irradiating waves of pain from my wing, I couldn't move. From the corner of my eye, I could see my wing was bent at an unnatural angle, obviously broken. The fight was still visible from where I lay. Another dragonet landed a bite on the Sakura before escaping to the safety of the air. It spun around to try and catch her, but stumbled over its own feet. The other 4 dragonets continued to circle it with flaming attacks that were causing numerous burns. With a half-strangled screech, the Sakura started to go into seizures. All 5 dragonets continued to dart in and breathe a stream of fire on it before dashing to a safer distance. I flinched as a bolt of blue energy struck the creature. The dragonet scattered with squeals of surprise and fear. I managed to turn my head slightly and tensed at the sight of 5 heavily armed Kamari guards. The child was nowhere to be seen, likely taken to safety at some point during the fight. The Sakura had a bloody wound in its side from the energy blast. Its limbs no longer moved, although I could still see its ribs shift as it breathed. Amanda and her mate darted under the rose bush and came out the other side, each carrying a hatchling in their mouth. They quickly took off further into the forest as the other 3 dragonets flew with them as impromptu guards. None of them noticed me on the ground. My head was swimming from the impact, but I tried to call, "Hey!" My quiet, slurred words echoed back, proof that I had a concussion serious enough to block my ability to mind-link. 3 of the Kamari watched the dragonets make their escape. Thankfully, they hadn't pointed their weapons in the direction of the now-vanished dragonets. The other 2 fighters were surveying the Sakura and cautiously began approaching it. One swung his weapon, and the Sakura's head rolled away from its body. Okay, that is definitely my cue to leave. I was breathing heavily from the fight and the pain, but I struggled to my feet. My head swayed from side to side as I staggered sideways unsteadily, trying to regain my balance. My wing dragged along the ground painfully. When I tried to lift it up a bit, crippling pain shot through my wing. I collapsed back on the ground with a whimper, closing my eyes against the intense pain that made my muscles tremble. I took several deep breaths as I tried to wait out the white-hot waves of pain. When I heard heavy footsteps nearby, I opened my eyes in worry. I inhaled in alarm when I saw one of the Kamari approaching me. Oh shit. He was closer than I had ever been to any of his race. I hastily lurched to my feet and tried to shuffle backwards. The pain in my wing was so bad that my legs threatened to give out. My back hit the tree behind me after just a few steps, stopping my retreat.